All right. Hey, all. Hello. This will be an unedited, scripted version of Milk Guide. I did notice that, yeah, I did leave you guys out of not having the Milk Guide, and I was seeing the comment, "Where's the Milk Guide? Where's the Milk Guide? Where's the Milk Guide?" This is a very quick guide. Let's see. All right. Oh, you guys didn't see that. All right. So I'll talk about real quick on milk because I did leave you guys hanging about this. So I did write down a guide about milk actually, but I ended up like not being able to fully record it and edit it in time for you guys. So I'll just kind of go over through what I think about milk. Buttermilk is the strongest right now, as with a big asterisk. And that might be shocking for some of you, but hear me out, right? So milk is the strongest iron pierce, and if there's no pierce, actually she would be tied to Raven as in the second place against the boss that has no parts but has core, which is basically the shooting range dummy. So terms of relative damage, to just put it to perspective for some of you, so like in shooting range, Red Hood does about 7 billion, Milk does 10 billion, Raven does 10 billion, and Rapi Red Hood, taking the first place, is at 12.5 billion. Now there's a huge caveat to it. I'll talk about it a little bit. In Ultra, so you guys know Ultra is a boss that has lots of pierce opportunities. Red Hood and Rapi Red Hood does about like around 9 bill. They're about roughly similar. If you have similar investments, Red Hood and Rapi Red Hood does that much damage, and Milk can do 12 bill. So right now, in terms of pierce, she is the strongest, with a caveat. Technically, Snow White can be the strongest. Like Snow White, well, Milk can do 12 bill, Snow White can do 20 bill plus on Ultra. But that's because, you know, the way how Snow White works, there's the parts that spawns constantly that gets destroyed fast, right? And so Snow White actually can do a lot of damage because of that. And it perfectly times Snow White's burst rotation. So technically, in situations where there's spears that are short-lived, so the parts are short-lived because they have low HP, but we call that over damage with Snow White, she can kind of like just pretty much pop off on those situations, right? And also the way Snow White works is like it's in a different like team composition with Miranda. So this is not counting Snow White, where she is like situationally really good, and in some situations I would even say that Snow White is strong, like really maybe the strongest like solo carry in different boss situations. Now you might say how good Milk is. There's a lot of asterisks on why I think that is the case. One is that the boss situation is very situational, where pierce is always happening. It almost always isn't, actually. In a lot of solar raids, the parts don't really live that long, so the pierce advantage that she has is not really kind of that great anyway, and that's also why kind of Red Hood is not as big a priority also on raids, even on other bosses. But if there's lots of pierce opportunities, then they would be good. One example I would say maybe is like Stormbringer Iron Advantage on Union Raid. Union Raid has I believe that Stormbringer Iron Advantage has lots of core opportunities on it, and that's why like Red Hood was really good. Or was it Stormbringer? Actually, maybe Maybe I think it might have been Material Age. Anyways, like I said, this is gonna be like unedited, but a lot of you are asking about it, and I wanna upload and at least make sure that I talk about it, so you guys aren't. There's a last day anyway for Solar Raid, so hope this helps you guys out. But like I said, very boss situational. And Snow White is also boss situational. So, but Milk, assuming that Pierce does consistently happen, then she would be really good. And the main boss that I could think of where that would be it is likely the Union Raid Material H. I believe that one had like Pierce almost always. And another is elemental advantage. The thing is, like nowadays, even you guys are noticing it, the Solar Raid teams, they're more trending towards elemental advantages. So you just have to make sure you pay attention. That the thing is, that's the meta that we're going into. So regardless of what you do, we're gonna end up doing that. And likely with the next anniversary, there's gonna be likely another DPS, and it's likely gonna break another either similar damage to Rapi Red Hood likely, or it's gonna break the damage threshold once again. They usually love doing this on the 1% characters where it's breaking the level limit, especially the anniversary or like the special occasions. Another is there is a very intense manual gameplay. I'll talk a little bit about it real quick here. So let's talk about Milk. So Milk right here. So one thing that is very important about dealing with Milk, let me switch this so it's a lot easier for you guys to see. So let's talk about Milk. So the skill 1, and it really revolves around dealing with skill 1 and whenever she's bursting. So in terms of suggested skills, 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus, she is pretty strong, but again, you have to be willing to do this manual situation for it. So I'll talk about it and then I'll demonstrate it in a bit. So for skill 1, the full charge, you have to hold full charge by extra 0.5 seconds. This is where the main manual comes in, and she will gain this buff that is a lot, right? And you will do this holding of charge after every full charge, every full burst that she does, because this skill 1 buff lasts for 40 seconds. So you after her burst, she will have you need to trigger this skill 1 buff. So the typical way that you're gonna do it, and I'll talk about let's show you guys how this works. All right, and again, this is gonna be unedited, but it's for you guys. All right, I'll just do this. So but anyways, let me talk about this. If you don't do her correct manual, she will lose about nearly 40% of her damage. And just to kind of talk about it a little bit on terms of damage, if you're manualing her as is corrected, she can do 3.8 mil, for example. This is just on one of the accounts. And if you let the AI do her own thing, it goes down to 2.3. So, from 2.3 bill, letting the AI do its thing, or if you manual her to 3.8. And the way you manual her is to show here. So I'd like to, when controlling Milk, I like to burst with her first. So I'll go first. Sorry. All right, let me try that again. I don't want to do the whole thing, actually. I like to fast charge real quick. Ideally, someone else. Yeah, sorry. Switch this, aim assist. All right. That's how I prefer to usually control my sniper rifle, especially if someone needs like a full charge. I let the AI kind of do the full charge, but all right, let's do fast. Yep, and then fast charge. Okay. Oh God, I put in the wrong position. All right. All right, so let's start off again. I like to do a full charge into fast charge and then burst with milk. All right, there you go. A full charge into fast charge. After her reload, full charge into fast charge, and you will use up all her ammo. Then now, after her burst ends, you will full charge and hold it, and that will put her into the embarrassment mode, where she will gain this buff, and you will see that there's kind of like a forced reload on it right here. It's a really long time, so and then from there do full charge and fast charge again. And the rotation is full charge and then fast charge, and then full charge, fast charge, and then it's her burst again, and full charge, fast charge. Now you will notice that sometimes like it's really awkward reload timing, so it's gonna depend how fast you can really fast charge, because the idea behind it is you need to maintain the pierce situation by doing full charge, and while you have that pierce buff, you know, maybe you're with Grave, so you have like pierce buff, or aid or someone like that, or during her burst she has like pierce damage bonus. You need to maintain this pierce effect so that she gains that bonus pierce damage buffs from either herself or others. So ideally what you want to do is to have enough ammo lines where your fast charge is just within like 5 to 6 seconds, and by that point then you would have run out. Now it's gonna depend from person to person how many ammo can you unload during that 5 to 6 seconds. Ideally around 5 to 6 seconds. So it varies between 1 ammo to 3 ammo lines. I think for a lot of like the try-hard people, it would be around 2 ammo lines is where you guys would want milk to be at. So how you will build her, very, very high priority on elemental. You should have like around 5 elemental, and oh my God, sorry, I just woke up. It's not 5 elemental, 4 elemental lines. Wow. Okay. Wow. NIKKE 2, 5 elemental. So you need four elemental lines. Try to aim like 70-80% elemental and make it the highest priority for each of her overload pieces to have 4 elemental lines. And then after that, then you can go for ammo line, which suits your shooting pace. So whether you can unload 5 within 5 to 6 seconds, like you need just 1 ammo line, or you need a second ammo line for that. Make sure that each of the piece has ammo line, and yeah, lower priority on the attack line. I'd say do that, and then after that, so once you put in milk with your ideal ammo situation and you have 4 elementals, then you can start adding in attack line. And then after that is whatever the leftover lines is, you can go crit rate, crit damage, or what have you. So, and that's how you would play and build milk. The skill is again 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus. ideally 10 10 10. In terms of dolls, highly recommended to be upgraded for her doll, and the reason for that is because a lot of her damage comes from her basic attack, and the dolls does give bonus damage. Let me see, iron damage for milk. The dolls does give bonus damage for sniper rifles, discharge damage multiplier, and that still applies even if you're fast charging. So it still is kind of like a bonus thing, and you still have to do some here and there full charge anyway. So R15, SR5, or SR15, depending on how much investment you want to do with her. Even at low investments, she should out damage Red Hood, especially if the difference between your Red Hood and her is not that much. She does have that potential. Anyways, I wanted to talk about this unedited. A lot of you were requesting about it. I'd like to get this video out before solo raid ends. There's like 1 day left. Good luck guys. Yep, and that's about it. I'll see you guys next time.